So, Hare Krishna, and welcome to the Fearless Freedom, a journey into our fearless, honest, moral inventory, where our masks drop and the healing truly begins. So, this is not really about declaring that this is who I am, deal with it, it's not my problem, I have all these faults. No, it's actually about gently peeling the back layers with humility, with the first three steps in our uh, hands, in our hearts. So it's about acknowledging our flaws while aligning with the truth. So it's in the mood of service. It's not in the mood of self-righteousness, which a lot of modern day motivation talk is about. So this is about reclaiming our divine essence and honesty as a doorway to that spiritual success, as Krishna directs Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. So when Krishna says, no, truth will set you free, as in essence. So today's, it's not about like a confession, it's actually a new beginning. It's about a sacred courage that we're going to gather together in this path of transformation. And this step may be raw, but it leads you to the real you. Okay, so this tip may be difficult as I sent out the handout. So it may be difficult to understand, but once you understand, and then everything goes smooth in the whole entire life. So this is the acronym for today, Fearless. So you can read more details in the presentation. We will try to go as summarized as possible. So F stands for face off, face the mask, because we have been wearing these identities, right? Maybe I'm a dutiful mother, I'm a dutiful wife, I'm a beautiful woman, I'm a good disciple, all that. So here we're looking at what am I hiding behind that truth that I'm showing. So what I call it as a 35 kilo stone mask that I'm carrying everywhere around in order to survive the society, survive my parents' acceptance, survive everything. So that shield that I'm holding is a mask to be accepted. And then E stands for examine your patterns. We already saw in the first step, we look at our patterns. What are the behaviors that it's repeating in me and why? Okay, so the whole concept of the examining is we cannot become whole unless we know what is broken, right? Nandini Kishore Mataji also spoke about that in your presentation. You did that. Then A stands for accepting responsibility. Like, this is not about blame game. It's about claiming our true power, the spiritual power, which is in honesty, which is in vulnerability. And then look at who have I wronged and who do I feel wronged from, and how to respond to that in a Krishna conscious way. So what you're not changing, what you are not changing, you're choosing. So if we hold on to those patterns and we're choosing it, then reclaiming the power, as R stands for. So in other words, like rewriting the story. And then L stands for letting go of the lies that I tell myself, the lie I tell everybody around me. And then E stands for the embracing divinity, divine identity in me. And to do the E properly, we need to have done the first three steps properly. And S stands for see through the illusions. Don't bullshit yourself. Not all that appears righteous is pure. And then we learn from some Shastric examples as well. And the other S stands for speak your truth. Before we speak the truth, we need to see through the illusions. Okay, so that's like general summary of that. Let me move this. I think this is better. Okay. I will admit it. It's time for you to admit it. We have been, I hesitate to say you have been, because you may not have been, but maybe may have been auditioning for the Best Pretender Award since childhood. So it's time to drop that act and look at myself without that mask, to see the way Krishna sees me, and not the Instagram version of ourselves, not the social media version, but the eternal, original Krishna conscious version. Just like Krishna faced Arjuna had to face his mask. We are on the battlefield of our life, and we can also do it the way Arjuna did it. So dropping that fake bravado and let Krishna guide the truth. So F is all about the facing the mask. Stop hiding. Confront the storm that we are carrying around our identity. And you were never meant to shrink for the comfort of others. That is not the true idea of Krishna consciousness. And the main principle here is of authenticity. F is the facing our masks, face off, looking at that true connection. What is the fourth step? Fourth step is all about the uncovering what's been hidden, the fearless moral inventory of ourselves. So this is inviting us to take that leap, honest look at our life. Okay, so if your life is on repeat like a broken Bollywood track, maybe it's time to change the tune. So the patterns that we have been carrying, they are not like curses, so to speak, but they are clues, the clues to find the true self. And each of this loop is a lesson where Krishna is whispering and saying, you're ready to grow now. So examining that pattern, looking at the recovering behaviors, we started doing that in step 1. And then in step 3, we are ready to hand over. So identifying those patterns that are repeating in our life that we don't want to grow old with those. So then the emotional habits, we recognize those emotional responses, how we do, how it's limiting me, and it's instead of thriving, I'm just trying to survive. And then those false beliefs, the stories we tell ourselves that challenge our growth, and challenging the limiting stories that you tell yourself. It's time to like stop the fake, false challenges, challenging myself to prove to the society or something, and challenge my false beliefs. So the quote is, you are not, and it's like just to help the E portion of this acronym, you're not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in the drop. So, oh, this is a one little thing I lied about. It's okay. I'm trying to comfort myself, telling it's okay. So it's not that. It's actually you are an entire ocean in that drop. So in that moment of dishonesty is my whole self as well. So this is a different perspective to look at it. So to examine again, not to judge. Fourth step is not about judging ourselves and going into depression and feeling low self-worth. It's about doing the first 3 steps. Krishna, I have these faults. I'm powerless. I know you can help me. My divine identity is connected to you. So in a compassionate outlook, because we are in the compassionate hands of Govinda, Gauranga. All right. Then the principle here is all about the true self-worth of how you need to challenge those limiting beliefs implanted by others, by society, by other people, to put the divine identity. Who am I truly? Sometimes we may blame our neighbors, or blame our dogs sometimes. It's because of my dog that I couldn't, Mercury retrograde didn't make me. So there's a whole blame game. The childhood stories that we have, it can only take us so long. It doesn't really help us to cross the ocean of this material existence. So we need to at some point own it and take responsibility, in other words. So A stands for accept responsibility. It's like a deep spiritual cleansing. So making room for grace, making room for Krishna to enter that place of authenticity. So own your part in the story. That's what we are learning in step 4. In the whole inventory list, we will always try to see our part of the story, responsibility, not in a codependent way, but in a properly done first 2, 3 steps very well. And then in the 4th step, take ownership of your actions and choices in a mature way, in a sattva guna way. Then release the blame, stopping the blame game, because blame keeps you stuck. And then responsibility will set us free. Then, of course, Krishna appreciates that accountability as well. As we see in the Bhagavad Gita, how Krishna was pleased with Arjuna's vulnerability. Then we choose differently. What we're not changing, you're choosing. So we don't hold on to that anymore. And remember Bali Maharaj, he owned his choices and then he gained eternity. So responsibility is the key here. Taking responsibility, own your story. Carrying emotional burdens without questioning them keeps you trapped. So this step 4 is an invitation. Okay. So invitation to put that down. Then, okay, you are not a Wi-Fi signal, I tell myself. You don't need to give your power away trying to connect with other people who don't value it. So the power, when I say don't give your power away, it's not the power of control. It's the power of surrender. We learned that in the first 3 steps. The true power flows from alignment with the divine. It doesn't flow from me trying to control my life. So here, R stands for reclaim your power, the power that comes from first 3 steps. Stop giving your worth away. We don't have to please anybody else other than Krishna and Guru. We don't have to like play a game. We don't need to pretend. We don't need to prove my sense of self-worth, because your value is inherent, not determined by others. Step into spiritual authority. So Krishna is my master. I hand over my life to Krishna. Krishna gave Arjuna the path, and Arjuna chose Krishna. He didn't choose the army. So similarly, we can choose the real strength behind all our strength, which is Krishna. So that true real strength begins at the lotus feet of the Lord. All right. Then live with integrity. Align your inner and outer life. So authenticity means I'm not showing one thing and doing another thing, because it takes away a lot of energy, and then we're not able to achieve what we want in our life, and not growing really. Then embrace your vastness. Stop acting so small, because you are. There's Rumi, there's a quote, there's a poet, Iranian poet, Persian poet. He says, stop acting so small. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. And Prabhupada says, we are all little Krishnas, little tiny sparks of Krishna. And then we can live with that alignment to Krishna's will. So principle here is integrity, and the connection is Gita. Krishna says, Mityacharasya. So don't do hypocrisy. Don't do this pretension. Ask Krishna to help us to align my inner life and outer life. Okay. So old stories don't need to define us. That's the point. And you can clean that. Yesterday is the past. 1 hour ago is the past. So I can redefine what I want to do now. So the inner critique that we have, fire them. They've been wrong about us from day one. They're kind of trying to deviate us. Fire them, meaning you can be kind to the inner critique and say, now let's be critical about our path of pattern. Let's go into those lies and look how to loosen that grip. Because when we are exposed to light, as you see this lady here, she's cleaning, and then when there is light, we clean our internal better. So the truth is like a cosmic exfoliant. You need to exfoliate. The truth is very, very powerful. All right. So L is all about letting go of the lies. And one of those one is the old stories that doesn't need to define you. Shedding all that. And then when we release that inner critique and give him a different job to do, the inner critique doesn't have to sit around criticizing, but then we silence that voice, put him to meditation, then that guilt and the shame diminishes also. So because otherwise the inner critique is always diminishing our strength to align to Krishna's will, because we are trying to, I have to do this, otherwise what people will think. I have to say this, otherwise what will happen. So all these fears that's keeping me from being honest and act with integrity. Okay, this thing moved. So quieting that noise of the past, you can do it. And then once I was able to do it, things shifted for me. When I did the 4th step, it just was like a liberation. And it just goes, everything in life becomes easier when I'm honest with myself and then with Krishna. Okay, so ignite that divine spark. Honesty is very powerful to ignite that spiritual identity. So the whole point of L is spiritual identity. Who am I? I'm not a puppet in the hands of people around me. And And who am I? Prabhupada says, you're a little Krishna, you're part of Krishna. And it's step 4 is not only about making an inventory of your flaws, it's also about rediscovering that spiritual roots. It's about also identifying your strengths. So this is very important when you're doing step 4, to combine both. Yes, I have these anarthas, but I also have these gifts, and I'm grateful for Krishna to giving me this side of me. So very important. Then Krishna will reveal the spiritual script. As long as we're playing material script, it's very difficult. Now, E stands for embrace that divine identity. You're not just that girl who posts on social media, or you're not that lady who responds to WhatsApp messages in a way that people don't get annoyed. You're divine. You have a very, your essence, your purpose is something for some higher purpose. So the spiritual identity, it's not earned, it's remembered. You already have it in you. So 4th step is like clearing all that dust away so you can shine, because you are already that soul, that spark of Krishna, the little Krishna, as Prabhupada says. Then 4th step allows us to look beyond our identity, not as, oh, I have these mistakes, I have this, no, but to go beyond and see myself beyond those mistakes, and understanding that my actions doesn't define my sense of self-worth. So Krishna consciousness is all about redemption. It's all about growth. It's not like some of the Christian cultures, they believe in eternal hell, but there's no such concept in Krishna consciousness. There's no eternal hell. We are always progressing towards Krishna, no matter how. So you are greater than your fears. You're greater than, in that song that I wrote, the whispers of your soul. When you hear the whispers of your soul, it's very clear, I'm stronger than my fears. So your essence, who you are, why you exist, it transcends beyond all these limitations of your failure, maybe in relationships, failure in your Anartha-Nivritti sometimes. So it goes beyond that. So 4th step helps you understand why I'm part of Krishna and why the honesty helps me. So to connect me with that divine consciousness. So also Aham Brahmasmi, right? The Vedic philosophy tells us that I am spirit, I'm not this body. So when we own this, then fear dissolves. When I identify myself as Chaitanya Das, I'm a servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, fear dissolves like butter on a hot chapati, a hot roti. So all those fears exist. Oh, what happened? What is it? Because I haven't yet seen who I am, beyond my fears, beyond my limitations, beyond my mistakes, and as part of Krishna. Okay? So feel the fear and do it anyway. That's our purpose and the path going forward. In step 4, you will be given this list of inventory that you will write in it, and you have to do it anyway, even if it feels like, oh my God, I don't want to do it, because we need courage. If we want to progress, if we want to thrive in life, we need to access that courage. Oops, I forgot to. So step 4 is about fearless moral inventory. Fear loses power when you shine the light of truth on it. And that's what we're learning in step 4. All right. Going further, your life is not just some Netflix series that you keep falling into drama all the time. It's not. So you don't have to keep falling into the drama. So S is like see through the illusions. Your life doesn't have to be a drama. And Maya Devi, she creates illusions to keep us looping in this material existence. So we have all our own little illusions. So the awareness is your escape route. Awareness helps us to escape this. Escape what? Escape from what? Escape from false pride, ego-based inflation that masks insecurity. Oh, people, they like me. What do we care if they like us or they don't like us? And then guilt. Oh my God, it's a big part, especially for women. We live with that self-punishment that keeps you trapped. And then we struggle to survive instead of thriving. And then, of course, victimhood. Poor me, it's because of them, it's because of that, and because of this. So surrendering your power to circumstances is not what we're talking about surrender here. We're talking about surrendering to Krishna, not to our powerlessness. So that we learned in the step 1. Then smoke screens, the distractions hiding your soul's real nature. So many firefighting tendencies we have, illusions that keep us away from accessing it. So the illusions, they break when we are able to access bhakti honestly, sincerely. So truth means to let Krishna into my heart. And then in the process, I clean the heart from all this false pride, guilt, victimhood, smoke screens. So how we do that, how to see through the illusions, owning my story, loving ourselves, loving ourselves in such a way, because that's the bravest thing you could do. And not with denial, but with acceptance, with honesty. Actually, the hand is two hands. Don't think it's one hand. I'm just trying to make so it's two hands receiving, is not one hand. All right. Then, okay. Accountability is the key here, okay? To see through the illusions. Recovery means taking full ownership of your choices and feelings without excess or blame. That's when you start thriving. Oof, it did really happen to me. And I stopped that blame game, take full ownership of my story without finding excuses, without finding justification. Okay, these were my choices. And do I want to keep doing it? No, I want to change it. So it's like really like a switch. Okay. So we have our podium, our microphone to speak our truth. So the last S stands for speaking your truth. As in the weddings, they say in the Christian way, speak now or forever hold your whatever. So I would say, speak now or forever hold your passive aggressiveness. Sometimes we have so much to want to say and to process, but we hold it, we twist it, we stay in that fear and that guilt and that shame and resentment, and it becomes very toxic. And people get cancer, people get all sorts of diseases, they get blood pressure, they get diabetes. All that happens when we don't do step 4 in our life properly, and we become passive aggressive. We hold it, we suppress it, and then one day, boom, we lose it. Then we become so sad and then depressed and frustrated. So S is all about learning to speak the truth in the mood of first 3 steps, in the mood of powerlessness, in the mood of letting Krishna, in the mood of giving our life to Krishna, and in the mood of authenticity and honesty. So honesty heals. Oh, believe me, it worked for me. So even one person, it doesn't matter how many people, friends you have, even one person you have. The truth telling is the foundation of authentic recovery. Even if you have one person with whom you can be 100% honest, it really is healing, so healing. Confession is strength. So step 5, you're going to find that person with whom you can share. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's actually your superpower. So we are learning it's like muscles we're building, spiritual muscles, and claiming responsibility. Prabhupada says we all have to fly our own flights. Nobody is going to do it for us. So this life is your 100% responsibility, not your husband, not your child, not your mentor. It's even your spiritual master, because he's given you the instruction, but then it's up to us, because nobody's coming to save me. And Krishna lives in that truth of how much effort I'm putting there. So honesty is not about harshness. It's actually a sacred offering wrapped in humility. Honesty is a sacred offering wrapped in humility. Okay, remember that. So it's not about, oh, deal with it. This is what I want to do. I remember one of the books of Melody Betty, she says, she was like wanting to be very honest and whatever, and she went into a friend's house with her kids, with her dog and everything, and she said, look, I'm here, I need help. But she wasn't in the mood of humility. So I really liked that. I don't know if it was her, it was a friend, but she was quoting that honesty is not about harshness. Honesty is about a sacred offering when it's wrapped in humility. So I really relate to that. Sometimes it can go extreme. I need it. This is for me. That's not the mood. We do it in humility. Okay. Then only we can be open for that divine guidance. Stop giving your power to others and start becoming your own savior, with Krishna as your guide, of course, and your guru as your guide. So the point here is empowerment, true, authentic empowerment, which is the moment we stop giving your power to others, depending on others to fill that Krishna-sized hole, and start becoming the person that is praying for it, connecting to Krishna in the right sangha, in the mood of wanting to grow and thrive. Okay, last slide. Congratulations. Why? Because you realize now that you're a spirit soul, and you are officially a fearless soul. Part-time mess, but full-time miracle. That's what I tell myself. Sri Radha Govinda Dasi, or a part-time mess, but a full-time miracle. So every day is a step towards becoming that version of myself that Krishna can love. So all these steps here, it merges. It merges into one truth. What is the truth? You're not this body. So the divine consciousness, you're not this body, you're divine consciousness, you are experiencing transformation. And then the fearless moral inventory reveals not only what binds you, but also what you can set free, how you can thrive. This fourth step, if you do well, every day you can do it. Anytime you feel resentment, you can do it. Anytime you feel fear, you can do it. Anytime you feel upset, you can do it. So this is like light bulb moment where you realize you're Satchidananda, the eternal nature of who you are. It's like a spiritual mirror. You are a spiritual. You're not your past. You're not your mistakes. You're not your patterns. So keep polishing until Krishna smiles back at you. So this is the spirit of the fourth step. The principle is freedom, as you see here in my background, freedom paths. So you're free through your truth. That's how you can become free. Let me show you my background again. This is an image I made after doing my fourth step. When I cleaned up my junkyard, then I was able to, in that place of junkyard, I was able to create this mental meditation hall, in the place where all the junkyard of fear and resentment and all that was. So this is a place where we can allow Krishna with that, using that honesty in the mood of humility. All right. So I will stop here if you have any comments or questions.
Hare Krishna Mataji, wonderful presentation. So I have a question. When you say stop lying to yourself, and we are I am so used to all these lies, which is like part of me. So from where should I start? That this is my first step. That okay. So I mean, from where should I start? Because it's part of me. Knowingly or unknowingly, I'm doing it and doing it for many years. That it's part of me. I don't know if I can, So I need that, that mantra that I should remember and then keep going from there.
Yeah.
So
see, this is the power of fourth step. I can see you growing, no? How you're even asking the question, how you're even relating is so empowered now, so different. And you're able to now it'll be like fast ride. Because once you are able to admit it, that when I admit to myself, my friend always says, don't bullshit yourself. So, don't say things which, I don't truly deeply believe. Let me share the screen with you, okay? This will give you an idea of how I do it, whenever, how I face the truth, so to speak. Like, yesterday I had one of the incidents like this. I feel, let's say, resentment. I take an example here. I just this example, resentment. People, institutions, or principles whom I resent. Maybe sometimes I resent, I have to chant 16 rounds. Maybe I resent, I took up a service, or I resent somebody, or the ISKCON as an organization. Sometimes I may resent. So there is no end to who I could resent. So in this example, there's somebody, the sister here. Why am I resentful? This is how we work on our lies, Usually we stop at this. I'm resentful. She was so bad, she did this. How could she lie to me? And we get stuck here. And then sometimes when we're a little bit more aware, we say, why? Well, she fought so much with me. I didn't feel supported or loved. That's why. Right? Okay. And then some people stop at that. They don't go to the next step. The next column is, how did it affect you? How did it affect your self-esteem, pride, emotional security, finances, ambitions, personal relationships, sexual relationships, whatever the area of effect would be? How it affects me? It affected my self-esteem, my pride, my emotional security, my personal relationships. Yesterday I had to do this. How is this affecting me? And I saw, it was affecting my pride. That was where it was affecting me. Then I had to do this column number 4. That's your answer, Pankaj. Column 4 is where we realign. When we realign, I can't BS myself anymore. I have to be honest with myself. What is it? What are my character defects? That's the 4th step. I have been what? Selfish. I've been thinking of me, my respect, my pride. How could she treat me this way? This is my time, whatever that was. Selfish, dishonest, self-seeking, and in fear. So the point was, I wasn't in the mood of service. Yesterday, I had an issue. I was in the mood of my time is precious, and here I am, and this person is not arriving in time. And, it's like I was really selfish. I wasn't in the mood of, it's self-seeking. So immediately, a whole story changes when I do column number 4. What is it? What is my character defect there? And then I look at the nature of the wrong. What action or behavior of mine caused harm? I mean, in my case, it was not external behavior, but it was internally thinking that that person is not as valuable as me, or that person is not as important as me, all that stuff, right? I want to be respected. I want to be admired. That's like a boo sign from recovery. As soon as I think that I'm not on the path of Krishna, unless and until it's okay to have boundaries with my time, but internally to have resentment, that's not going to help me thrive. So, caused her worry with my, whatever, this is an example here, caused her worry with my using, lied about my using, never let her in emotionally, and only cared about my own desires. So in my case, I would say I didn't communicate properly. I didn't clarify before. Are we on for the appointment? I only have 30 minutes. I cannot give you this time again. Instead of, the resentment was like, I charge so much money and you're still not showing up, although I'm showing you mercy. Like the whole pride, it just came up. Then when I was able to look at it, it takes some time, more time, and then eventually it'll become quickly when we analyze it. But the moment of truth is when I can admit this column number 4 and column number 5 with utmost honesty, not to your neighbor, not to your husband, not to your children, at least to yourself and Krishna to begin with. Okay, so that is the answer to your question. How can I stop lying to myself? Because Krishna already knows I can't lie to him. But what I usually do is I hide behind, instead of column number 4 and 5, I get stuck in column number 2 and 3, and then keep going back to column number 1. I don't let it go out of my system. And how I can let it go out of my system? Doing column 4 and 5 and praying to Krishna, please release me from this character defect of being selfish, to be so proud, to have self-seeking tendencies, and to think that I'm more valuable than other people. Remove these things. So I could say the same thing to her. I'm so sorry. This is the time I had. I don't have it anymore for the future or whatever weeks. But I don't have to do it with resentment. So I don't have to do it with a mood of selfishness. So that only I can know. Only I will know what is happening in this column. Does it help?
Yes, Mataji, thank you so much. So what basically you are saying is resentment is not fine, but you can be still be clear. This is the time, or this is the service I have. Whatever the reason is, you can be very clear upfront, but don't have the grudges or resentment.
Yeah, it could be resentment, it could be fear, it could be shame, it could be guilt, whatever you're experiencing. The principle is you ask the question, right? How can I stop lying to myself?
Yes.
So I'm saying by doing this column work, we may feel I'm angry with this person. That's the beginning. It's an opportunity. That anger is an opportunity to help you to stop lying yourself and looking at that pattern. And when you keep doing this in any emotionally difficult situation, you'll end up not being able to lie to yourself at one point. You'll arrive at, this is my character defect. This is what I was lying to myself, saying this person is this, that. I was evading the responsibility to look at my character defects.
Got it, Mataji. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Anything else?
Mataji, how do we keep this chart handy? Because when we are kind of in that high of emotions, of all these emotions you mentioned, first thing you have to remember that there is step 4 I have to do. Second thing is I have to remember that column headers and somewhere write it down and start doing that, or mentally do it, or in a paper do it. How do we practically
So
do it?
initially, there are 3 stages. First level, we start writing it. You practice step 4 now when you're doing your step work. You do everything that comes to you, you write it down. So it's a practice. And then eventually, you start doing it as a 10th step inventory where you say, have I been resentful? Have I been fearful? Etc. But yes,